Hello guys, and welcome to another video. This day is a really special day for me because, as you can see just in front of me here, it's my arcade cabinet build. Various different bits and pieces. Plexiglass for the cabinet. It's got cardboard on it at the moment, but there's plexiglass in there. The cabinet itself is here. All this has just flown its way over from the good old US of A. I ordered it from the United States. It took about 2 weeks to get here, which is very good. I was actually informed by eBay and by the tracking company, I think it's UPS, every step of the way. Loads of emails on its progress. Look at this. I mean, this is just a side art that comes with it. I'm going to explain exactly what I got and why I ordered it. This is as you can see, Ghosts and Goblins. There you go, that's a translucent top part of the cabinet. I can't think of the name at the moment. It'll come to me after I've recorded this video. It's the topper you'd put out at the top of your arcade. Translucent, so it means if I put a light behind it, after seeing this, I probably will. Looks fantastic. But it's my Ghosts and Goblins. Ghosts and Goblins is my favourite arcade game ever. No doubt. I played it loads in the arcade, local arcade, when I was a kid. Loved it. Playing it on MAME and a computer wasn't good enough for me. Look over my previous videos, a simple arcade joystick. I put together myself a DIY joystick. That gave me the enthusiasm and confidence to go for something like this, a proper arcade build. Now, I was looking around the internet. There is various different builds you can buy in the UK. You don't need to go for the US for it. But the quality just wasn't there. As soon as I saw this is from Games Room Solutions. It doesn't say anywhere on a box, I don't think. Oh, it does actually. But it's difficult to get to. The label here, Games Room Solutions, you can't see it from here. They're the one who sell this. I saw the YouTube video on it, and I just had to have this. Don't know if it comes through now, but the quality of the build. This is a control panel. Real quality. It's a bit dusty. If you look at their videos, everything's dusty, and it looks like I've got some USA dust on the various different parts. All the parts are there. You can see it's quite dusty, but I can clean it off, no problem. The quality of the wood looks incredible. It's not just cheap plywood. This is sort of proper quality, hard-duty wood. I've seen this cabinet put together. You would pay thousands for it if you didn't know how much it costs. It cost me, including shipping, it cost me £450 for all this. So you've got the marquee, the artwork. Is that called the marquee? Anyway, you've got the topper for the arcade, the bezel, the sides, like I say, control panel. I don't know if you can see that. Well, this is the control panel rather. Joysticks. Look at this chrome illuminated joysticks. These will light up if I want them to. I'm not sure I want the joysticks to light up yet, and the buttons. The options there if I want to do it. All the different things. And Sanwa joysticks, I believe. So, and there's an option of making them 4-way or 8-way, which is great. Various different cables. Like I say, plexiglass. There's got to be more plexiglass than that, because I think there's a front plexiglass somewhere. Unless it comes in 2 parts, I'm not sure. But all this would go on the cabinet too. All this, £450. It would have cost me about £320 if I lived in the States, because it's free shipping over there. But of course, you've got to pay shipping and you've got to pay import tax. Don't forget, the States don't pay tax on their goods, but we do when we buy them at source. So import tax as well. £450. Not bad. Sorry guys, the video stopped there suddenly. I must have had my finger on the stop button inadvertently. But anyway, we're back now. I'm going to aim to build this within an afternoon, tonight maybe, who knows. Today is the 24th of January 2018. I'm going to build it step by step. I'm not going to show you the whole build all the way through. I'll stop at significant parts and show you what I've done. There's enough videos out there showing full arcade builds if you want to go and watch them. I'll show you the significant steps and I'll show you the finished product, which will hopefully look fantastic. And we'll take it from there. So, exciting stuff. Okay, so update so far. Today's Sunday. It's about 4 days later. Well, I got it Wednesday. It's 5 days later. But I went away for a couple of days. I was working. I've come back early. I went away to London for a few days, but I came back a day early to get started on this because I was really excited to do it. I've made a start. I put the control panel laminate, the artwork on the control panel, and I put the plexiglass on top as well. And as you can see, I've put a couple of buttons on just to make sure the plexiglass is in the place I want it to be. It is. This artwork, there's actually a little bleed, which I didn't realise. I thought this would be a tight fit, but let's turn it over. You can see that the artwork actually comes over the edge. Now I've tried to cut this using a pair of ordinary scissors and a sharp knife. It's not going to do it. I'm going to have to buy a Stanley knife. I don't have a Stanley knife. Piece of advice, if you do a project like this, get the proper tools. I'm going to have to buy a Stanley knife and cut that, because I can't fold it over either. It's really tough, this artwork. But I cleaned up the plexiglass. I made sure the artwork was in the place I want it to be. As you can see, it looks pretty good. A couple of buttons on so far. I'm going to put the rest of the buttons in here as well. And the rest of the buttons in here. What you do, I'll show you. So put a button on. Let's see if I can do this while filming. Straighten my hand a bit. That's better. So what you do is make an X. There. Let's do this as well. That's when you know the plexiglass is in place properly in the outlook. See that? Now I can push a button through. Dead simple. Push a button through, and on the other side you would use a nut. One of these nuts there, and you would tighten it on the other side. Dead easy. Putting the buttons in is a breeze. Getting this laminate on, the artwork wasn't. I had to pull it off a couple of times because I didn't realise, like I say, there was bleed on it. And what I did is I actually tipped this upside down and put this on, this wood onto the artwork that way. So I put the artwork out and put the wood on that way. It makes sense to me. Worked out okay. It's in a perfect position. I made sure there was no air holes in the artwork too. As you can see, this is a bleed. It will fold down to some extent, but it won't stay in a position. So I'm going to have to get a Stanley knife and cut that. This plexiglass is in the right position. I feel it. It's dead it's dead centre to the actual wood. But the artwork bleeds a bit, so I'm going to have to cut that. No one said this was going to be easy. If you look down here a second, here's the assortment of... It's a bit of a DIY area. I've got to get a better area to do this. It's probably not the best. These are all the screws and fittings that come with it. They weren't labelled, so I had to use my best guess or estimate as to which were the joysticks screws. And in fact, they're not. I think these are. Let me just grab these. These are the joystick screws. Move them out of the way. And these are the nuts that go underneath the joystick to tighten them into place. It was a guesstimate. I mean, there's so many different screws, but there's maybe 10 of these. These are the cam screws. There's loads of them. There's hinges. There's only 4 of them, so I knew it couldn't be them. But there were 8 of these and 8 of these, so I guessed these were the joysticks, and they fit. I'm knocking everything over. Really have to get a better space to do this. They fit into the joystick parts easily enough. You had to push them through. Like I say, this artwork's tough, so you really had to push these screws through, but it fits okay. And as you can see, it's looking pretty snazzy so far. Anyway, I'll get all this fitted on. And I'll cut this down with a Stanley knife, this bleed. If I have to. I'll wait on that. I'll buy a Stanley knife anyway, but this might be okay once I get the unit together anyway. It might just fit into place. And I'll continue. Okay, and here we go. So I've got the joysticks in, the buttons in, and the bottom control panel, so the start and play, it goes sort of, that's the top where you play games. That goes just underneath it. Look at this. How sexy does that look? That's brilliant. This is the start I wanted to make. This is why I came back a day early from my holidays. I didn't want to be on a holiday. I was taking a short break. Well, it's like a business break, but still. I came back a day early to start this. Look how good this is. I mean, this is a project I've been anticipating and excited about for weeks, months. Thinking about it, dreaming about it, and here it is. I mean, this is just the start. These are just control panels. By the way, there's a little bit of bleed on this as well. And I'm beginning to understand now, so my apologies to the designer of this. I understand why there's a bit of bleed on it, because it's difficult to get these things exact. If you don't get it exact, you're going to have to rip the vinyl off and the artwork off and put it back on. If there's a little bit of bleed, it gives you a little bit of leeway. It doesn't have to be absolutely perfect. I've not got this on. It's difficult to see now, but there's maybe a bigger gap with the bleed here than there is up here. Oops. But it's okay. Because of that little bit of bleed, it gives you a bit of leeway, so I understand the bleed now. My apologies. But look at that. I mean, it's getting there, isn't it? It's really getting there. It feels like an arcade unit already, and it's only been probably about an hour, half an hour for me to do this. Brilliant, loving it. I'm gonna get the side panels on. It's getting late now, so I might do that tomorrow. I'm not in a rush to do this, to be honest. If it takes me weeks, a week, I'm okay with it. Like I say, I've been anticipating it for ages. Also, another thing, I mentioned I put the screws away now. I kept a few out. I said that it was difficult to decipher or guess which screws which went where. If you think about it, it's not that difficult, actually. It's quite self-explanatory. Like I said, there were 8 of the joysticks thing, you know, the screws and the nuts. Obviously, it was for the joysticks. There's 4 of these and these. If you look at the videos of Game Room Solutions, you can tell these are the for the VESA monitor to mount the monitor. The other screws are self-explanatory to mount the hinges. So it's not that difficult actually to decipher what screws go where. It's a DIY project. It's got to have some challenge in it to make it exciting. So there we go, that's that part. I'll get the side panels on next and then start putting the whole thing together. Really exciting stuff. Okay, so I've made a little bit more progress. I've trimmed these down. You remember the laminate or art was coming out a little bit too far along the edge, so I've actually trimmed it neat to the edges. And as you can see, they look a lot better. I've also put the art on the sides now, the 2 sides. The thing with this, and it does say on a Games Room Solutions video, leave some bleed, because the T-molding, which I've ordered today, I've ordered some chrome T-molding, which looks great on this. Again, from the Game Room Solutions video. The T-molding will hold this in place. I wasn't that convinced. I thought there was too much bleed along the edges here, and on this one I've actually trimmed it a little bit. You could see these are the trimmings I've taken off this. I've trimmed it, but then I thought to myself, well, actually it's probably wiser to leave an inch or so. Oops, an inch or so, because the T-molding, once it's in place, hammer that T-molding in place there, it will keep this artwork in place. So I've trimmed this a little bit, not too much. There's still a little bit of bleed along the edges. It should be okay. I've left the whole bleed along these edges. Again, I put the art upside down and put the wood on top of the art to apply it, and then I had to lift up a little bit just to get a few air bubbles out. I used a cloth. Oh, by the way, yeah, that's the knife I brought myself today, so I got myself a cutting knife, very sharp, very good. Good results on that. And it's all coming together nicely. So anyway, yeah, I'll leave the bleed on that, and then see when I get a T-moulding. It should arrive in a couple of days. I'll see how that fits along the edges, and it should be fine. Looking good. So that's all the artwork on. Bit darker down this part of the room, but I've got the back on the monitor, so that's ready to go into the cabinet now. It's a bit of a loose fitting, but he said he did that purposely, so you can move the monitor up and down and adjust it to the height you want it, which is great. And when it fits into place, it should stay in place. So that's good. The monitor's slightly smaller than the edge of the board, which is also good, because I heard a 22-inch monitor is a tight fit, but this one seems to be. I don't know until I get it into the case. It seems to be okay. Next step is I'll turn these over, put some bubble wrap down, and put all the pins in, and then start getting the cabinet put together. Okay, so another update. I've got the panel on its reverse. Basically, the artwork's on the back now. This is the right panel. I've got a couple of the, I've got the top panel in. This is a speaker panel. There's enough space there to stick those speakers in that I bought, which is great. It's not firm yet. One side is, the bottom part is, but the top's not, because I've not got the other side on yet. So I've just got to be careful that doesn't over wobble. And I fit the hinges for the back door. This is a new thing. This is the back door basically. So when this is all completed, when the unit's put together, this will just hinge open, which is fantastic. So I've got those hinges in. I've got to really start working on configuring the control panel, wiring the control panel. So let's go there next door. So yeah, I've got to put all the wires in here basically. I want to do that first. There's another hinge on the bottom of this. That's another new addition. It hinges up, so when the unit's together, this will hinge up. And you see those two holes there? Though that's for a hinge basically, and then it'll just pop down and clip together on this, I believe. Yeah, there's two holes there. So that's where the clip will be in place. I've got to wire all these up and all these up. That's pretty easy. I've done that before. That doesn't faze me. It's just a little bit time consuming. But so far, I mean, from what I've done, this took me an hour. I've not been doing it all day. I've had the day off, but I've been doing other things. I've been chatting to a friend. I'm talking to a friend in about an hour as well. So I want to get it done tonight, though. I want to get it fitted together, because I'm working all day tomorrow and Wednesday. I'm not going to have time, so I want to get the unit to some sort of completion. I don't just want to leave it like this overnight. So I will. And I'm hoping it'll just take me a couple more hours. The wiring will probably take an hour by itself, probably, and configuring that. Once that's done, it's easy street. It's just putting the rest of the things on, the bottom, blah, blah, blah. I've not got the chrome T-moulding yet, so that's going to have to wait. By the time you've watched this video, or videos if it's too long, I would have had the T-moulding in place. I won't release the video until the unit's completely complete. But there you go. Easy, easy, easy. You could do this in an afternoon. If I worked on this all day, I'd probably have it finished by now. I haven't. I'm just taking my sweet time about it because I'm enjoying it. Onward I go. And just another quick update. So I'm getting this put together now. Now, I've not wired the controls yet, but I'm just testing it to see how it all fits together. I've managed to get the monitor in. That was worrying me at first because I've heard people had problems with that. It went in quite easily. I've got the bottom on, I've got the control panel on, I've got the bottom control panel on, speaker panel, and the top, the back's on as well. You saw that previously. So I'm just going to put now the other side on, essentially. That control panel's not in properly, I'm just going to have to screw it down. But I just wanted to pause and see, it's all a bit rickety. Wanted to pause there just to show you how this goes, and a little bit of trickery. I really had to jam this down to make it fit properly, fit squarely, because it wasn't, sorry, this to fit squarely there, because it wasn't at first. I was having trouble with that. It's a bit different to the way I thought it would be fitted together, but once the other side on it will make sense, I feel. Looks a bit like a sort of, I don't know, some kind of Martian jigsaw puzzle at the moment. But it's fitting together nicely. I'm confident now when I put the other side on it, it'll be okay. And I'll report back when that's done. Okay, so this is the morning after, and as you can see, I pretty much got it complete. I've got both sides on, the control panel's on, the monitor's in, the bezel's in. I've stuck the speakers down, and they look great with sticky pads, so there's no need for screwing there. You can screw speakers into there if you want to, but I thought I'll go the easy route. They look good and they do sound good. I've not got the Pi set up, I've not got the control panel set up either. Now, my thinking behind this, or one reason, was that if you could see this is the wire leading from the joystick, one of the joysticks. You've got to electrical tape these to the other wires that come with the unit, and I don't have any electrical tape with me, so I'm going to have to buy some. But the reason I put it together first is because of this new feature. This is a feature Games Room Solutions recently added. You can actually lift this panel up, and as you can see, there's loads of room there to work on these buttons. There's buttons down there I can wire, there's these buttons here. Loads of room. So I thought I'd get it together first. Yeah, so that's brilliant. This feature's fantastic. I just go along, wire these buttons and joysticks, buy some electrical tape first, really, because I need to make sure that's properly connected. And then, so I can work in there, that's great, that's a great space. To put these sides on, this side on, so to get this all connected and all together, took me quite a while actually, it was quite tricky to do. I'm a complete novice at building arcade units. This is my first unit. Of course I'm going to run into challenges. This was a challenge, absolutely. But I got it together, and it's all looking pretty good now. I can't wait to play it now. Like I said, I've not got the Pi in yet, the Raspberry Pi in yet. That's easy, I'll just put it in the back. Actually, let's go around the back, because it's another feature they added. So what you do, you just pull this open. There we go. It's a bit difficult with one hand, but pull this open. Loads of room to work in the back there. I've got the monitor plugged there, I've got the speakers wires coming down. I'll plug the Pi in, I don't know how far back you can see, but there's loads of space in there. Put the Pi in there, put the iPack, the controller unit in there, put an adapter in there. I could put a small AT computer, mini AT computer in there, micro AT computer. ATX computer, is it? In there, if I want to. Just making sure, yeah, that's a monitor. Yeah, it's all looking pretty good. It's like a little workspace I can work in. That's really brilliant. And this unit, like I say, you have to screw these in. It's another hinge. It's another feature they added, but it's a hinge unit. So instead of just closing and not closing properly, it now latches together. There you go. A little bit stiff to begin with, but it now latches together. And yeah, there's a couple more things. Obviously, I've got the speakers in, as you can see. I've not got this part on yet. Again, this is oh, I keep getting this word wrong. This is the top part of the arcade, I'm going to call it. It's not the bezel. Anyway, I'll get this on. Sorry, I know the word and it just doesn't come to me when I'm recording. But anyway, I'll get this on. But to get it on, you can't just... It won't just pop in. You've got to actually screw it. These screws here, these self-tappers, they call them. You've got to screw through the plastic part. So these are the retainers for the marquee. Got it. The marquee. Okay, so this top part of the unit is called the marquee. I've not got it on because you've got to screw through the plastic and then screw into the wood. I tried it by hand. There's no way. You see a couple of marks there in the retainers where I've tried to screw this in. There's no way I can get it through by hand. I'm gonna have to get a powered screwdriver, electric screwdriver, whatever they call them. I just cannot get this in by hand, and I don't want to risk ruining the unit. So I'm gonna try and loan a powered screwdriver so I can get this in. I could stick it in, but then it's stuck, and then, you know, if you want to get it off again, that's going to be a problem. If you put 2 screws in either side, top and bottom, you get 4 of these screws, at least you can unscrew it then. And then you can put, if you want to put a new marquee in, you can do. And that's pretty much the way arcade units generally work anyway. They have screws in for this. You unscrew it, take it out, and put another one in. So that's the way I'm going to go. And if I can't get a powered screwdriver, I don't really want to buy one, so I really want to loan one. Because I'm not going to use it other than this, I don't think. And the costs have come to enough on this already. So I don't really want to spend any more money, but I'll try and get one and put that on. Once that's on, it's going to be brilliant. So there you go, I'm nearly there. I've got to buy some electrical tape. I've got to buy a hammer. In fact, I don't own a hammer for when I get the T-molding for the sides. It wants really hammering in gently to the sides. So I'll get one of them too. Yeah, and some cable ties. When I do put the wires in for the control panel, there's going to be a lot of wires in there. I want to cable tie them to make them neat. So I'll buy some of them too. I've got to go to work later. I'm not going to finish this today, and I won't be back home until tomorrow. I'm going to probably work on it tomorrow. Like I say, this space here is fantastic just to work in. You've got the unit set up, and now you can just work wiring these things up. Brilliant. So, onward we go, but it's been fun. It took me about 7 hours altogether so far to get to this stage, and it's almost complete. It'll be about another hour to wire up the controls or so. So, it doesn't take long at all, and for a complete novice such as me, that's pretty good going. So, onward we go. Okay, so a bit of a further update. As you can see, I got my marquee. I said it right. I got my marquee on. I borrowed or lent a drill from a friend. At the end of it, sort of, you put that on the screw, of course. I've never used a drill before, never used a power drill before, or powered screwdriver, or anything like that. So this was a first for me. But I managed to get the screws in. So the marquee, marquee retainers are all screwed in. The marquee's up. I really want this lit up. It looks great. It looks a little dull without light behind it. I really want to get some lights, strip lights, and just light that thing up. But I got them in. I'm a complete novice. So I don't know if you can see that, but I had to... That hole was wrong. It wasn't drilling into the wood, so I had to re-drill it. But not too bad. You can't really see it. I mean, it's all black in a way. I don't know if you can make it out there, just about. The rest of them, they went in fine. Got it in. Also, just to show you, before I wire this whole thing up, I was just tempted to wire it up and get going, but I thought I'll show you the progress and the space you have to work with this new feature that they've added. I've showed you this before, but brilliant. I've got the micro switches in, so when you press a button, it fires off a micro switch. I don't know, oops, sorry, I had the camera in the wrong place. Don't know how much you can see of that, but it's firing off micro switches, which registers the button. You wire that into something called an iPack. It's a little sort of, looks like a little motherboard, but in fact it's just registering there's certain sections on that, so one button will correspond to it. One of the joysticks will joystick movements will correspond to it. That iPad will plug into your computer, or in my case, the Raspberry Pi, and that's how it works. But this is the stage I've got to at the moment. About half an hour to an hour. Well, yeah, because let me just say, fixing the micro switches onto these lamp things to fit in, it's the only way to fit them to the Chrome buttons. Took me a little while to actually figure out how to click them in and how to click them into the actual the units into the actual buttons. It takes a little while, a little bit of figuring out, but I figured it out. Now comes the part that could be very interesting. Let's see if I can focus in on that. Bunch of wires. Actually, it's not as many as I thought it would be. I've not got the LED lamps in. I don't really want these buttons lit up. I think they look fine like this. I'm sure you will agree. Some people want them lit up, I don't. I want the marquee lit up. The buttons, I don't. I've got the option there. Oh, let's show you. I've got these lamps I can put in, and then I could put that to a power source. I think it was 6 volts you put them to? So you can splice the wire. If I did that, there's actually loads of more wires to put in as well. I'm just not too keen on doing it. It's good to have the option. So I might do it one day just to see. But I think it looks fine like that. I don't want lit buttons beneath my fingers. I don't remember that in the arcades, and I'm not really into that. This would be great lit up, like I say, but the buttons, no, don't need that. So, to wire them up, it's not as much as I thought it would be, really. Might take me another half an hour to an hour. I'm not rushing it. Today is Wednesday. I think the last time I recorded a video was yesterday morning. It's now Wednesday evening, about 8 o'clock. I'll probably get this done tonight. Test them out. Even test the system out. Let's see. My T-modding hasn't arrived yet. It's been dispatched, apparently, by the company, Arcade World. I bought it off. But it's not arrived today, so that'll probably arrive tomorrow or Friday. Whenever it arrives, I'll put it on. I'll probably get the rest of it finished and it up and working today. But I just wanted to show you the progress so far. And another update. Well, I've got all my controls wired. I've actually got this board. What do they call that? Zinmo board, according to the computer. I've got it on the laptop. I've got it plugged in via USB. And it all works. So if I can show you, I'm going to do the joystick first. See if I can focus that in. Left, right, down, up. I'll do a few buttons. You'll see them flash on screen. As you can see, it all works. I have tested them all. I've tested player. This is player 2. I've tested player 1 as well. Look at all that. This has been a really good experience because not only have I wired controls and the various different parts of the joystick, micro switches, that type of thing, I've also had to splice on using electrical tape. Excuse me. Using electrical tape. I'll just grab it. So this little roll, it cost me about 50, 60p in the UK. Very cheap. Anyway, I've also had to splice wires together. I've never done that. I'm not an electronic freak. I'm more an accountant. It's my career, in fact. So I'm more analytical. When it comes to DIY, woodwork, and goodness knows what, and electronic stuff, electric stuff, I'm just not electronics. It's just not me. But having done this, I feel like I can achieve a whole lot more. I mean, it's opened up new avenues of ideas, which is great. Yeah, it's a mess of wires. Luckily, I got myself some cable ties, but that's it. The controls are set up. All I need to do now is connect my Raspberry Pi in there, mount this Xeno board, mount it somewhere in the back, get these wires neat, and Bob's your uncle. We're so close. So, okay, today's Sunday morning. It's a week ago today that I started this build. I started to make the control panel and put the art on, as you saw. So it's a week ago I started it. I could have finished this early. It's finished now. As you can see, the T-modding's on, and that's really finished it off. That's really completed it, as you can see. I have actually been playing this over the past couple of days. I couldn't wait for the T-modding, and it's fantastic. Just like an arcade, as you expect. But as you can see, the T-modding's fantastic. I did make a couple of mistakes. You will see here, you've got to cut the T-modding to go around corners. I actually cut into the outer T-modding, which doesn't really show too much. There's a mistake there and there. When I came to this side, I was a bit more careful, so no mistakes here. I've actually got a little bit of T-modding left. As you can see, I mean, I picked this up, and this is a protective cover on top. I actually thought this was the colour of the T-modding when I first saw it, so I thought it was a blue T-modding. But as soon as I put this part on, I could peel the protective wrapper back, and I saw that it was indeed chrome. And I think chrome suits it better, I'm sure you will agree, rather than blue. But that's just protective wrapper. There's enough left there to do this side again if I want to. It doesn't really show these mistakes. It's a little bit imperfect, but for me, that's part of the charm. I like it. It's a great build. I've said this before, but a really good build. Now it's all finished. Let's give you a different angle. Now it's all complete. Look at that. I mean, if you didn't know I built that, you could assume I would have bought that for thousands of pounds. There are other builds on the internet, there's cheaper builds, but the quality of this, I mean, it's a substantial unit. And the quality of it is fantastic, as you can see. It sounds great, I'll show you that in a minute. It's well worth it. It's well worth building one, regardless. I mean, I'm quite happy to own an arcade unit. I'm not going to play it every day. I'm just happy to have it. It's like part of my collection. Something I'm happy to have and play once a week, once a month, whatever. Whenever I play it. Invite friends around, they can play it. You've got to take that into consideration. I mean, it cost me altogether, so with all the bits for the Bartop, the monitor, and the T-modding, about £520. If I didn't have a Pi 3, that cost me an extra 50. You can get them for about 30. So at least £550 for the build. And for a build of this quality, like I say, you would pay thousands if you ordered this and you got it pre-built. There's companies out there charging thousands for similar builds. The wiring, I've put a cable tie around one of the some of the wires, but I've left it loose because it's easier to get to. And to be honest, it closes fine. So I can open it, get to the wiring that I need to, and it closes okay. But what do you think, guys? What do you think? I think it's fantastic. I think that T-modding really completes it and really adds a shine. The chrome suits the design of the cabinet. And just overall, once I get this marquee, I said it right, the marquee lit properly, it will set it off. Let me show you. I want to show you. Let's go into arcade here. I want to show you. I'll get to my favourite game. This is why I built a cabinet for Ghosts and Goblins. I've got the sound on about quarter volume with those speakers you saw when I was building it. Just bear with me. You can see more of me than the screen at the moment. There we go. So that's Ghosts and Goblins. I'll let it go into the attract screen. There's an attract screen to it. Listen to that. That's just quarter volume. Doesn't that just seem like an arcade? Listen to that. So there you go, it plays well. I might do some gameplay videos because I'm actually pretty good at this game. I've almost completed it. I was one of the best in my arcades when I was a kid. I was one of the best players. So I might do a bit of a playthrough of that and a playthrough of some of my favourite games. Let me know if you want to see that. But there you go. Cabinet complete. Well worth it. It's been a fun project and I can wholly recommend it.